It's Tuesday, September 23rd. The rapture still hasn't happened. Donald Trump made the most embarrassing, fragile speech in front of the United Nations today. I now have a list of more than 60 topics pinned that I want to talk about. All political, social, environmental topics that I think are important for us all to be educated about. I'm having a hard time today deciding which ones to tackle, knowing that I have limited capacity. And I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. I don't know if you look at all of the ways that the regime is trying to shock and awe us, right? They are trying to wreck every single aspect of American society and the functionality of our government. And it's meant to be very overwhelming, right? It's meant to keep your head spinning and make it very difficult for you to find something to focus on, to push back against. Right? It's meant to divide your energy and be like, oh shit, I gotta fight this, and then I got this and this and this and this, and like you can't focus on one specific issue and craft an effective plan to resist, because there's just this onslaught of so many different ways that the regime is trying to harm you, your loved ones, your community, our democracy. I didn't make very many videos yesterday, I think just like 2, because I was very much overwhelmed. First of all, I was livid over the press conference about Tylenol, how it does not cause autism, but we are seeing the regime determined to spread absolute conspiracy theory, wellness, grifter, snake oil nonsense. It was very reminiscent to me of when Donald Trump said that, we should inject bleach or put sunlight in our blood or something to cure COVID. It was the same kind of vibe. Idiotic and depressing at the same time, that these are the people in charge. I was so angry over that story that I felt like I couldn't cover it, and I was going to set it aside and look at some other news stories or issues that I felt were important to discuss. And I just couldn't. I could not focus on my giant list. I have huge lists on my laptop with notes and links, and I couldn't settle on any specific one that I wanted to cover because they all just seem so important. And I guess that maybe brings me to the point of my video here. Oh, hi, hi, bud. I guess that brings me to the point of my video here, which is that it's okay if you are also feeling pulled in a million different directions, if you feel like your head is spinning, if you feel that the inundation of terrible news on such a huge array of topics is absolutely overwhelming. It's okay if you have moments where you're like, I can't decide where to focus. I don't know what to do. The important thing is that you don't do nothing, that you don't become paralyzed. If you feel that there are multiple areas where you could be effective in resisting and you don't know what to choose, pick one. Just, close your eyes and throw a dart, right? It doesn't matter which one you choose, because there are millions of other people around the country who care about the same things that you care about, and they are also looking at these lists and they are picking something. What matters is that we pick something, that we don't do nothing, that we aren't frozen, that we resist in any way that we can. We don't actually have to resist in all of the ways. You don't have to save democracy all by yourself. But what you get to do is lend your small contribution, and that contribution will join with millions of other people who are doing their thing as well to push back against fascism and to protect our country. Charlotte in France said this a while back, that they're trying to shock and awe us. We need to shock and awe them right back. And then Heather Cox Richardson said something a couple of days ago that just really, really resonated with me. She talked about how in America, diversity is our strength. That we are actually not a particularly unified people. We're not a homogenous society in most regards, but that is a strength. That each of us have different things that we really care about. Each of us have unique ways that we are being negatively impacted by the regime. And each of us have unique, creative ways that we are resisting and pushing back. And that it is much harder to defeat a diverse resistance movement where we are coming at the issue being the fascist Trump regime from all different angles. We are all adding our own unique elements of resistance, our own unique efforts. Heather was saying that's much harder for the regime to defend against. There is no one leader of the resistance. It's all of us. It's the American people who are working together. It's the American people versus Donald Trump. So I don't know. I think it's okay if you have these moments where you're like, oh shit, I don't know where to focus my energy. I know that I only have my small quantity of resources. There's only so much that I can do. And I just feel so overwhelmed. I don't know where to plug in and help. I think we can just feel this tremendous burden of like, we have to save everybody. We have to do all of the things. And then we can't, that's not a realistic goal, right? And so we get very overwhelmed and we can give up. I just really, really want to encourage you, whatever small thing you are doing, or maybe it's a big thing, whatever thing you are doing to resist fascism is worthwhile. It is worthy. It is crucial that you continue to do that. If you see 5, 10 issues that you care about deeply and you know you only have the resources to plug into one of those, please just pick one. And trust that while you are focused on that thing, your neighbors, people in your local indivisible group, people all over the country, people internationally care about all of those other issues as well. And they are giving their small contribution, right? We're all given our little drop in the bucket until we are a tidal wave. Speaking of mixed marine metaphors here, it really reminds me of this story that my mom used to tell me in my childhood. There was this tremendous storm overnight and it washed all of these sea stars up onto the beach really high up. And the next day the sun is out, it's shining bright. All of these sea stars are getting absolutely desiccated, right? They're gonna die. They're above the tide line. And a man is walking down the beach feeling very overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, look at these millions of sea stars that are going to die. And he just feels very hopeless and overwhelmed. But he looks down the beach and he sees this little lady who is walking up from the water, picking up a sea star, walking back down to the tide line and throwing that sea star into the ocean. And then she does it again. She walks up the beach, grabs a sea star, walks back down, throws it in the ocean. And he approaches her and he says, ma'am, what are you doing? He says, ma'am, you can't save all of these sea stars. And she says, yeah, but I saved that one and the one before it. And I'm going to walk up the beach and I'm going to get another sea star and I'm going to save that one. And then it clicks for him. Like, what if everybody from the village came down and we all started collecting sea stars and throwing them back into the ocean? Each one of us can only save a handful, but if everybody came together, we could save the multitude. And that's very much what grassroots organizing is all about, right? That's very much what the resistance against fascism looks like. We add our small contributions, and those really, really matter. Each sea star that we save, that is a life saved, right? Each effort we have to resist fascism, that is a worthwhile effort. It makes the regime's job much harder. It erodes their power, but it is the entire village coming together for the collective effort that will get the job done. So I'm going to pick a couple of news stories today. It may not be everything that people want to hear about. I also want to talk about some greater issues, maybe get a little bit philosophical throughout the day today. When I'm not driving kids to classes, I got to leave in 3 minutes here. I just want to encourage you, if you're feeling really overwhelmed, if you feel like you can't save everybody, you can't fix this all by yourself, so you might as well just give up. Please understand that that is the propaganda of the regime, wanting to demoralize you, wanting you to feel hopeless, wanting you to feel small and insignificant. But you aren't insignificant. You are part of a greater movement of millions and millions and millions of people. And also, please understand, there are billions of people around the world who are rooting for us, who stand in solidarity with us, who are supporting us. You are not alone. I know it can feel like whatever you have to give, whatever ways you are volunteering and helping in the resistance movement are not enough. I just want to remind you that what you're doing is worthwhile. It matters. It's important. We need you. And that you're not alone. You can trust that while you are tackling one issue, if you're protesting ICE, if you're calling your representatives, if you are working at eroding a pillar of support, if you're working with a Get Out the Vote movement, if you're donating to the ACLU, whatever small things you're doing, they really, really matter. And please trust that you are joined by millions and millions of other Americans who are likewise adding their small contributions. This is what resistance looks like. If you feel overwhelmed like me this morning, take a second, remind yourself of the facts. Remind yourself that your work is worthy, it is needed, you are needed, and that together we are going to get the job done.